show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, sliceonbroadway.com. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/awesomecast.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I can promise that today's episode will have stunts. I can also promise that this episode also has from the Big D in Dormont, PA. He's the gadget guru at Big Bank International Esquire. Over at Studio C, the Chilla. John Chichilla, how you doing, sir?
Putting people to sleep since 2021.
Putting people to sleep since 2 o'clock this afternoon, right? So, but if we had he told us a great story here before the show. I should have had that on the Patreon, but he's putting people to sleep in meetings. That's great. Also with us, rallying everybody up on the internet. We'll find out why in just a few moments. The Hello Kitty controversicure. There's a word in there. I swear there's a word in there. Dudders is with us. Katie, how you doing?
Good.
So, and hot off of your first attending a hockey game in God knows how long.
Yeah, years. Yeah, I don't know last night. It's been a while since I work them, but I don't ever get to go to them.
That's different. I don't count attending a wrestling show the same as like filming one, right? It's a different thing. You're on a different side of it. It's nice to not have to be working. So, and also back with us from Grind City, you can watch on so many different platforms, and a year old as well. Not the guest, the platform. It is DaButtonPusha. Buns is joining us. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I see you've upgraded your nerd specs.
Oh yeah, I'm in now. I told you guys last time I was there. I was working my way up to get my nerd certificate, my nerd status. I'm in the building now.
I love it. Oh, thank you for coming back. We didn't scare you away. Yes. She said yes to come back, so that's good to see.
I'm right here.
So we'll be catching up with what's going on with you over there at Grind City. But in the meantime, we hope everybody catches up with us at AwesomeCast.com. And please subscribe to the AwesomeCast on all your favorite podcast platforms. Please rate and review us. You can email us at AwesomeCast@sorgatronmedia.com for any comments or advertising opportunities. Tweet us at AwesomeCast and join us. Follow the Facebook page and follow us on the Facebook group where a lot of great discussions and stories from throughout the week you guys put in there and we put in our rundown to hopefully get through to the show. And of course, we are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Facebook Live, as well as here on YouTube for the AwesomeCast and on the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. So however you like to watch video with us, whatever works for you, whatever app is loaded on your phone and easier for you to cast to your TV on Tuesday afternoon, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Giving a shout out to our audio partners, our friends at the 405media.com, still streaming us on a regular basis over there, and our friends at postindustrial.com have been sharing a lot of the content that we've been putting out throughout the week from the AwesomeCast. Please go check them out. Post Industrial, I don't say it enough, but Post Industrial actually covers a lot of the Rust Belt is their beat like basically Pittsburgh into the Midwest. So it's kind of cool to get that perspective on things as opposed to like the New York, LA mindsets. I feel like we get a lot in media, or that's why we started this show, because we were tired of hearing how cell service sucked in LA. In San Francisco, we went to talk about how much it sucked here in Pittsburgh. Actual origin story, actually. But anyways, thank you to our Patreon supporters, our friends at patreon.com/awesomecast. You guys have been getting a lot of content lately, actually. Had a late drop yesterday, I know. But our friends at the Coffee Club level, Matt Wella, John DeGore, John Carmen, Cynthia Klosky, and Scott McTaggart of the Pitchworks podcast. And at the Fan of the Show level, our friends Michael Fedor, pjsmuseums.org, Professor Buzzkill with his great podcast, and Dave Ponner of the iPhoneography podcast. I think I got all the podcast plugs in there. So thank you so much. If you guys want to be part of that rundown, support the show, and get your thing plugged here pretty consistently at the beginning of the show, you can support the show at patreon.com/awesomecast. And again, we do have a lot of extra content. Buttons was asking, so I told the origin story of how I ended up working the last 5-6 years with our friends at SA International, which leads to interesting traveling. And I talked with people from Egypt yesterday.
Wow.
So as part of that, and a fellow from General Motors today about zero emissions. It was fun. It was a lot of cool, fun tech stuff that we're doing over there, and that's gearing up here again soon. So very excited. So a lot of stuff to be excited about. Let's get started with I woke up Google or Alexa. I'm not sure. I don't even know how I did it. Just talking to me. But Dudders, let's start with you. We mentioned last night your experience, but tell us a little more about that.
So last night I did get to attend a Pens game as a fan. It was their Hockey Fights Cancer Night, which usually occurs in the fall, in November, but because of the pandemic and the weird season, it was not like that this year. So they decided they had Hockey Fights Cancer last night. And they asked me if I wanted a suite. The Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation, a while back, I was featured in a video. I've worked with the Pens for, I think it was like 11, 12 years now. And they did a nice video where they gave me a jersey with my name on the back. And I had a nice message from Sidney Crosby, which was all very, very cool. And it was an awesome, awesome experience in the locker room. And so they invited me back for the game last night, gave me a suite. There was food in there, which was super exciting because who doesn't get excited about food? But the surprise is they played my video during first intermission, which I had no idea was going to happen. It's actually a really funny story that we were all hanging out in the suite. We're all hanging out in the suite, and during intermission, I had a couple friends who were also attending the game that I was going to run downstairs and say hi to them real quick. Ran downstairs, heard my own voice over the speakers, sprinted out to a ramp down in the 100 section and caught the video. And if you see how I reacted to the video, that was pretty much how I reacted watching it again, was just there was tears. I was so excited. I literally yelled, "It's me!" at the top of my lungs.
Somebody's in the seats below your box saying like, "What the heck?"
The best part was so the suite was here and I was literally by the seats like right below it, and they didn't realize that I was just right there, and I was getting calls and texts from everyone in the suite like, your video's on, and meanwhile I'm watching it, and but it was really funny. I was like, "It's me!" And like at the end there were people applauding, and I went like top of my lungs. I was like, "Woo!" Loge behind, this really nice lady offered to take a photo of me in front of it because she realized it was me, and I was crying, and she's like, "Can I take your picture in front of it?" I said, "Thank you." And then so this Loge, the seats behind me saw me get excited, and they're like, "Yeah!" And they just started applauding and clapping and screaming, and it was really, really funny. And I was like, "Thank you!" And they were really sweet. And then come to find out, the crew up in the suite actually heard my little applause section. They just didn't realize I was down there to hear it.
That's awesome.
But it was really a cool night and had a lot of fun, and really appreciative for all the things the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation, the Pittsburgh Penguins, have done for me.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that was a cancer night you were doing last night, but that's cool. I thought they were just playing the video in general when I saw your story on it too. So no, that's really cool. Chilla, what's your awesome thing?
My awesome thing is rather low tech.
Okay.
I was looking for a way to like keep my desktop organized, especially at work. And I've played around with drag everything into folders, do this, do that, but then I have folders strewn about and I have things in an order. And then I was actually watching a TikTok and someone said, "Hey, there's all these desktop background organizer wallpapers." Where they actually have, like, if you scroll down in the URL is extremely long to remember, but it's, I think, androcollect.blogspot.com. But someone's gone out there and collected all these wallpapers, and what the wallpapers have are either different shaded areas of, you know, things you need to do, things you need to file, inspirational stuff, the to-do you're working on, miscellaneous. So I've actually, my work computer, I've actually set my background to one of these, and then some of them have like blank folder pieces at the top, so you can kind of make them whatever you want to. These wouldn't be too hard to create on your own, especially if you have, you know, a large high res display. You can obviously get way more icons into a lot of these areas. Some people have gotten pretty creative as you go down there. They actually have like pictures of shelving units where you can drag your application icons around, and there's like a bulletin board on the wall of the picture that shows you kind of, you can put stuff up on the bulletin board. I thought was kind of cool, but just a way to keep things organized, because I don't know about you, but much like the unread email notification on my phone, which is currently sitting at 48,844. My desktop tends to get a little cluttered with icons and whatnot.
That's awesome. I've seen versions of this over the years, but you know, and I always wondered if it was worthwhile to do it, because I'm getting a little cluttered myself there, Chilla. But
and what I found myself doing was like, oh, I would just take all the PowerPoint files and drag those into a PowerPoint folder, or I would take all of some document type and pull it into a folder. This allows me to like keep a little more of my workflow going, but also kind of keeps me more folders with projects or other types of information, rather than just sorting by type and dragging and dropping, or searching for keywords and just hoping for the best.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I want to do mine next while this is still working, and I'm pretty sure I can do it. My awesome thing is this little drone is a Tello drone. It says it's got DJI and Intel technology in it. I don't know what that means. It's by a company called Ryze, RYZE. So this actually was a birthday present from a wife of the show. And I've wanted for ages just a small, cheap thing like this that I can, you know, learn how to drone, basically. Not looking for something necessarily to shoot video or anything yet, just something to get used to doing a drone. And before, you know, I don't want to crash a $500 piece of equipment, or, you know, those things get expensive, right? You know, plus cameras and gimbals on it. So this thing is so simple. You throw the battery in there, it Bluetooth, it does have a camera, and then it controls by your phone. You connect over Wi-Fi, so the range isn't going to be that much, okay? And the video streaming is only what you record to the phone over the Wi-Fi, so it's not entirely a lot that you want to do, but it's pretty nifty. So here, we'll just go ahead and, whoa, there it is. There it is. If you guys are on video hanging out, and it works pretty well. And when you're done with it, it'll land right on your hand. Boop.
Oh, dope. I love
like
it.
that. Oh, no, it's still going. I don't know why it's still going. There you go. But anyways, that was my demo. That's my first active drone use here on the show. But I took it out to the park last Thursday when we got it, and I've been driving around a little bit, like around. I love the one thing is like, this is the kind of drone that is just fine for your house. Explain that to your dog. Not happy about it, but no, it is kind of nice because it's kind of lightweight, easy to use. it kind of balances itself, and I'm guessing like most of the drones don't do that. I did a little bit of video, and again, this is stuff captured from it. If you watch the video, you'll notice like there's a lot of kind of pixelation as it's getting out there and everything like that, you know, because it's again broadcasting over the Wi-Fi to your phone to record. And this is this is actually the ball field up at Banksville Park. So I couldn't go high enough because I knew if I went high enough, I could like maybe see downtown buildings, and it would not get high enough to do that. But pretty good. I could see the roof of my house and how much work I need to have done up there the other day. But I was also worried about it, you know, it gets blown pretty easy and like pretty much the lightest of wind, and you know things like that landing mechanism. It's really good just balancing and staying in place because it's got 2 sensors on the bottom. So that's where a lot of that's going. You probably see that blinking on the video there. Again, it was only about $100 drone. I think she got an extra pack that came with like the 3 batteries and a battery pack, or I'm sorry, a battery charger. Otherwise, there's like a USB in the side that you would just plug in. Batteries say they are rated to last about 13 minutes, so which I think is pretty standard as far as drone use goes. And the app has a lot of like it'll do flips, it'll do spin arounds, it'll do a thing where it's kind of raising and backing off for really cool shots if you want to see something in particular and like do a pull away kind of, you know, jib kind of shot. The other cool thing is it will, if you Bluetooth your like Xbox controller, you know, we've got the Xbox controller with the clips for all the gaming we've been talking about, Chilla, works great for this device, adds a little bit more of a tactile feel to it. So again, if you're looking for something particularly to do video, I would not recommend this. But if you're like 720 video comes over Wi-Fi, I don't need the highest quality thing. Maybe I just need to look at my roof or something. Takes pictures as well. Those seem pretty clear. This may be the device for you. I think it's a pretty good one to get yourself started on. It's helping me build confidence in drone use, at least until, you know, I you know, get the big one for the business is the idea. So so thank you, Mike, for the show, for the birthday present that we've been playing with, and my dog hates you. So again, it's the Tello by Ryze. I think it's Ryze Robotics is the company. So it's a pretty cool little thing. I'll probably do some more videos and put some more stuff out. And if you look on my Facebook and my Twitter at Sorgatron, that short video is up there. And again, that's a video that it was taken on the phone. I threw it in iMovie, slapped something together real quick, and then it was out on Twitter. You know, it's cool to be like, hey, let's do a quick thing like this, right? And if it's 720, as long as you're not getting that thing too far away from you, the video quality is pretty okay. So that's a little bit of tips for, between that and like I was looking at videos online of other people reviewing it, and their video looked a lot better, and I realized all they were doing was just circling themselves, and so it's going to have the strongest thing. One tip I got: if you get a battery pack, like for your phone charger battery pack, and a Wi-Fi extender, you can make it go further. But probably not recommended, because then if you get too far out of range, you can't see things. so that was a little bit of a hack, I guess, that they had out there. I might try that out at some point too. So there you go. That's my fun toy. So
I thought it was cool on their site. They're showing, and I'm interested to know how it would work. It'll work with a VR headset, so it can be like you're flying in the drone.
So I'm not clear if it was supporting flying with VR, or if it was like you can go back and watch the videos, I thought, in VR. So I think, because as the VR, like, you know, Google Cardboard thing pops up in the video that's recorded. So I don't know. I could be mistaken. Maybe I'm missing a setting in there.
Because it says fly with breathtaking first-person view.
Okay.
You should see if you plug in the Android app and throw it on your Galaxy VR.
I was gonna say oh no! Don't make me do that. Chill. Have you ever seen a man with a VR headset in the middle of a baseball field vomit? You will. But I'm not looking forward to the VR aspect of it. I mean, I don't even look down at the camera for the most part, other than to see what the shot looks like, because I guess I don't have that confidence yet. But I don't know. We'll see. Again,
Have you seen the people that race?
yeah,
Like
no,
the
that's
drone, and they
nuts.
wear the VR goggles, and they're like
Yes.
high speed racing those things around old malls. I mean,
Yes.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the dream. This guy, I mean, like, if we could, hey, they're affordable. If you want to do just a really cheap, throwaway drone racing league, like that's kind of what these are good for. You could buy like 10 of these for $1,000 and go for it, right?
Just burn them out.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like the demo derby of drones. So Buttons, you've been doing a lot of great stuff over there at Grind City, and of course it's.
But I got an awesome thing though. I have an awesome thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Real quick, I'm not sure if people talk about this as much as they should. A lot of people are becoming podcasters, right?
Yeah.
Tons of everybody's popping up.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Along with the podcasters popping up are all these little companies like StreamYard and Be Live, all these little companies that are soaking up the money for people to try to stream live, broadcast live. So what I like to use and what I like to recommend to a lot of the new podcasters, go over and check out Restream.io. Very, very dope product to use when it comes down to streaming. You can add some overlays. You can add your very, very dope. And you can use the free version of that and still have a very nice output. And it's not as tricky as some things like Zoom or your StreamYard. So I wanted to bring that to attention to a lot of the new podcasters who are coming up looking for ways to stream live that's cost effective and doesn't limit your time. Because you know, when you're using something like Zoom and it's free, it limits your time and it cuts you off. Restream has a very, very cool format and also does not limit your time, does not cut you off. And as long as your internet is good, that thing is going to stream for as long as you're streaming. Has a very good connection rate. Very nice. I like it. And I trust that people, if you want to stream, because what I try to tell people, streaming is great. It's cool, right? But you have to make your product look great. You have to make it look good as well. You can't just get on your cell phone and it just looks a mess. It has to look good so people will watch it. So you want to use something that's cost effective and works for what you have. Because all of us don't have all these different pieces of equipment.
Right.
We may just have our phone or just have our laptop. So what I liked about Restream, when I first started using it, they didn't have a live studio then.
No.
You could just stream to these different locations. Well, they've built a live studio now. So you can add things to your broadcast, add other people, up to 10 people, I believe, on each broadcast. And that's still on the free version. And they have other paid versions that gets better. So I would recommend people, if you want to get into streaming and you don't want to have to download a lot of equipment, you can use it right on your browser.
Yeah.
Go ahead and check out Restream.io.
So for us, you may be watching us on Restream right now.
You just may.
Because we actually use it. That's what we use to duplicate our feed out to go to Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's a free version. It just says powered by Restream, and we delete
Which you can edit off.
Yeah,
you can edit that off once you're done with it. I use it as well. And why I like it is because it allows me to also stream to my network.
Yeah.
So when I'm live and I'm having conversations with people and I'm interviewing people, we're streaming to all the internet places, but it also allows me to stream to TV.
Yeah.
At the same time. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
We have like an account for every show, like the free account, so we can do like one thing here and there.
Yeah.
Because we stream the Vimeo, and then that takes care of the Facebook, because you have to pay to do Facebook because there's some extra qualifications for that. Or if you want to go to, say, 2 different Twitch pages or something like that.
Oh, right.
That's a money add-on. So we actually use it because Restream's good about going to one YouTube account and then like any Facebook you want, and then to manage like other accounts like that and other configurations. Well, it's just a little more difficult, right? So it's like, well, Restream, we can do this and this, and then we just log into this, and it's connected to this show, and then we have like a layer system of things happening here. But no, like the tools in there, like I've seen the emails as well, because we have the studio and vMix and everything, so that's how we do our graphics. You don't
need that, but for a new person,
but for the new person that doesn't want to do this with, listen, man, I'm looking at 3 different computers in front of me to do this show, and an iPad to manage the Zoom call, right? Yeah. So, like, not everybody has that, but they want to do something cool. Like, you can do that, and that's for your show, doing your thing. Like, that's great. You know, that's an awesome get started point for people like that. And there's like professional things on there, and it gets more pro the more you throw a little bit of money at Restream too.
Money to it, yeah.
So it's been a great option. That's been a great option for that. Vimeo started building in their own graphics system into that too. But again,
Vimeo is expensive.
Vimeo is expensive.
Woo!
Yes,
Vimeo
it is expensive.
I looked at them. I was like, all right, well, I can't. I just got my glasses. Those cost the grip. So I can't afford you, Vimeo.
No, the Vimeo. You don't even think about Vimeo unless you got clients that'll pay that bill.
Absolutely.
And we do. So that's the only reason we have it. But the great thing is then it's a tool that helps out all the rest of the productions that we have going on here too.
Right.
So we can up that quality a little bit. And it's a little more reliable than just going to straight to YouTube or Facebook or something. Because now,
absolutely,
if Facebook has a bad night, we've had that. We've tuned in at 7 o'clock and Facebook is completely down. And we tweet, hey guys, make sure you go to the YouTube. You gotta keep that in mind. Like it's good to dedicate to that platform. But always have that. Well, what if that platform has a bad night? What am I going to do about that? And
that's what help. That's what we're Restream is really good because it is streaming to 2 or 3 different places at one time. So if Facebook is not bringing up your stream, your YouTube could be your Periscope, and with your Periscope you share to Twitter. So your stream is up through Restream. That's what I really like about them.
So and there might be ways. I think maybe on the pay ones there may be ways to take that restream and like if you want to embed it right in your website or something like that, so that you don't even have to depend on the other ones. If you want to put your own chat room in there, if you want to get to that, and they have like scheduling and you can upload videos and they'll quote stream live, things like that. If you want to premiere like a show or something like that, but not upload it just to Facebook and premiere it, but even when it does this to Facebook, ideally it would look like a live video like we're doing now.
Like we're doing now. Yeah.
So, but no, a lot of really cool. Like Restream's really grown up over the last couple of years.
It really has. I'm very proud of that company. They really invested in streaming the right way because, again, there are so many companies that are taking advantage of people wanting to stream, and they have not perfected what it takes to do that. So people's streams are crashing. Meanwhile, you're charging people for this. Restream took a very serious approach to streaming and helping people accomplish that goal, and they kept it within a price range that from free to the highest bracket is still not going to kill your pockets. I really like that company.
Absolutely. Definitely consider them highly. And we have also paid for them for certain clients too when we've needed to as well. So, hey, I want to come back to you in a second, Buttons, but in the meantime, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com. New York City style yins are made here in Beachview, Carnegie, East End, and the North Hills one should be open by now. I haven't checked in on that just yet. But in the meantime, we do need to check into our next part of our 6-part series of What's on the Box. They updated their boxes over there at Slice on Broadway. A lot of fun stuff. I think I read something new every time. And this is the part 4 of What's on the Box. Hold on, this is really small over here. I think I need glasses next, Buttons. Like update. I need the other glasses for up.
Update.
So our big tip for this week is if you collect enough Slice on Broadway boxes, you can play Jenga with them. I have it thrown away. I think I have about 3 pizza boxes sitting at home already because I keep forgetting to throw them in the trash. Forgetting to put my air quotes here so I can try a couple of these, If you want to skip ahead to the end of our 6-part series of What's on the Box, go ahead and order your own at Slice on Broadway online ordering. It's on DoorDash, Grubhub, and all that kind of stuff, too. If you're in the greater Pittsburgh area, you can probably get yourself a slice. Supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Thank you to our friends over there for supporting the show. And thank you to our friend Buttons for joining us here from grindcity.biz over on your Roku on the Android as well. And so I had you on because it is Women's Month, Women's History Month. And I know you were doing a lot of great stuff, but it turns out that wasn't the only thing you were celebrating this month, right?
Right. March is extremely important to Grind City. 6 years ago, I opened up the doors here in my physical building at Grind City. It's called Grind City. So we're celebrating our 6-year anniversary of being open for business in this facility. So I'm excited about that. And then last year, I started the Roku channel. We've always had done TV production and things like that. But as you can see on the screen, our channel was playing right there. And I started the Roku channel 1 year ago in March. So we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary of our Roku channel as well. But what I wanted to do was be sure that we included the women who are producers, hosts, videographers that are part of our network in the celebration. Because sometimes the women get overlooked in the entertainment business if they're not the trophy part of it, if that makes any sense, right? So if they're not the one that's doing the model part of it, then we're really not paying them attention. Women are intelligent, we're beautiful, and we create things, and we edit things, and we push things. So I wanted to be sure that the women, that not to take anything from the men in our network, but I wanted to make sure that the women in our network understood that I see them and I appreciate them. And I wanted to put out just something small and straight to the point about each one of the women who are either producing a show or hosting a show or doing both on our network. So that's what we did at Grind City TV.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, and yeah, I think it's definitely forgotten. I know, you know, for me, when I'm on so many shows, especially in the wrestling world, like I hardly see, you know, women in the background production of things. But it's great to see, you know, this happening on this end of things and putting that on the forefront. Yeah. So that's great.
Thanks.
So that's cool. So I guess I'm gonna sneak in a little question I have for independent wrestling. What have you learned over the first year of streaming your own channel over there?
For me?
Mm-hmm. What was your biggest takeaway from the first year here?
The biggest thing that I learned,
go ahead.
I want to say this is a lesson reiterated through my whole career. We have to stay consistent. We have to stay consistent on what we're doing as far as submitting our shows, making sure that it's updated as best we can, and getting that fresh stuff out there. And it's always been like that with everything that I do. You have to stay consistent because Roku is a huge, we're talking over 14,000 channels, right? That we're in competition with. Let's be real. So in our first year, we were able to get, we're at 3,500 subscribers right now for our first year. Not bad. Our goal is to get 10,000 in our first 2.5 years, and that way we can start being listed on the Roku site itself. Like you could type us in and find us, but we're not that main. We're not in the main thing. When you go to the website, you can't watch us on Roku's website. We get those 10,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers. Now you better go right to their online presence and watch us, or download our app, or go to our site, or add us on your Roku TV or device. So we're really trying to push as a force for independent shows, period, independent content and content creators. But as far as wrestling goes, what I appreciated it was that you were able to find a format to continue to send me. When we couldn't go outside, you came with the Sundays part where the sisters interviewing people, just kept it fresh, kept it moving, and giving us the backstory about a lot of these guys and gals that are in this wrestling. I think it's the fun. I love it. I crack up laughing whenever I get an opportunity to actually sit down and watch them, because I can't watch them all. But they're just awesome. Also, wrestling, independent wrestling is the longest running show on Grind City TV network.
Oh,
yes.
Well, that's been awesome to put that up there.
Thank you.
No,
it was you, and then it was you first, then Sykes, then Sean City TV. So yes.
Oh, if anything's more consistent to me, it's Sykes, because that guy's been going as long as I have, if not longer, at what he's doing. So
man, to the point where I just look, he's like, pick whichever one you want, but I'm gonna.
No,
I think this week I'll try. It's just crazy how. You know, to see him grind. I remember being a showcaser and putting him on my shows, putting him on my TV shows, putting him on stage and fussing at him because he was not doing up, he wasn't doing to his potential, and I knew he wasn't. And I would fuss at him all the time, and then to have him interview me and say, "Hey, Buttons, I remember when you were fussing at me and I believed you, and now I'm doing this." And he's almost outgrinding me. I won't let him outgrind me, but I'm getting old, so I don't think I can keep up. But that guy just goes 100%. He's an awesome energy, great interviewer, and his ideas and his music sense is phenomenal. So I really like Sykes. That's my guy. Shout out to him.
Yeah, we had him on earlier this year as well to talk about what he's doing. It's a Start the Beat with Sykes show, and he's on, again, every platform as well. You can see what he's doing.
He's everywhere.
Give him a shout out. Oh, I'm going to subscribe to him as AwesomeCast while we're here.
Yes. Right.
He's awesome. That's awesome. No, they're great to be part of it, and I'm glad you're enjoying what we put out there. Because we're just like, oh no, do we just keep putting out wrestling matches? There's no new stuff. So how far back should we go? But no, I'm glad a lot of those old conversations are coming up there.
You can't replace classicness.
No.
It's classic.
And we had a lot of fun because there's some people we've interviewed that made some waves in the last couple of weeks on television. So it was cool to be like, hey, here's somebody that just had a crazy main event on AEW in my basement playing with our toys, things like that. So
remember this?
like her in 2016, her second year in the business. But so all right, I want to move to Katie, who caused some controversy on Friday, for a moment here. So Katie, tell us what happened.
Friday, as I've been talking about for a while, was the big day. It was the Sanrio cards that were released for Animal Crossing, where you could get 6 cards, and it came in a pack, and you were able to get various furniture around Hello Kitty and other, friends from Sanrio. And so I was up all night because I didn't know when Target was going to release. My plan was to order it online, and because I wasn't sure how to get a hold of it, I was going to order it online and see if I could pick it up. And so I kept checking Target's website all night, nothing, and like checking Twitter, and Twitter's like, oh, they drop it at this time, and they drop it at this time, and so I barely slept the whole night. And I had to get Animal Crossing Sanrio for me and my niece to play with, obviously. And kept checking it, and then hit 7 in the morning, nothing. And my Target opens at 8 a.m. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Target. I'm going to put my clothes on and head over to Target. And I sat and hung out in the parking lot for a while till before they opened. And there was a few other people in the parking lot with me. And about a little bit before 8 o'clock, we got in a little line and and the gentleman in front of me was actually looking for Pokemon cards, so I should have grabbed those for Chilla. We were talking about that before the show, that I should have grabbed the Pokemon cards for Chilla while I was there. Walked to the back of the electronics store and was like, do you have the Sanrio Hello Kitty Animal Crossing cards? And they said, yes, we do. Limit of 2. Here you go. I said, thank you. Guy behind me was looking for the same thing. He's like, I need to get these for my girlfriend. And it was, checked out. Walked out the door, posted a picture of me holding the 2 packs of cards, because the plan was I was getting one for me, one for my niece, and didn't realize that Target was only supposed to be selling its pre-sale online, and you go and pick them up later to make it fair, and because they didn't want people lining up for the cards, because the whole COVID thing. I didn't know that. It was in very small print in the ad, and maybe they talked about it online, but I didn't see it. And for me, the ad, Target ad, is in their app on my phone, and if you've ever seen, it's like this big, and you can't see it in tiny print.
It's like a PDF of the ad, isn't it? Like something crazy like that?
Yeah, and then they had the list of the products below, and the Animal Crossing was there, and it was available Friday. That's all it kept saying, and there was no other additional information, so I assumed I could just go in and buy it. Well, people did not like that. So I tweeted this and didn't think anything of it, and folks are retweeting my picture of me smiling like an idiot with my windblown hair, and saying, oh yeah, Target, you really honored do you know what online only means, Target? And
oh my God.
I was just like, what the heck? Because I had no idea, because I started getting people tweeting at me and retweeting and posting. And most of the people were very nice. They were just no, there was no personal attacks on me, thankfully, because I flat out replied to a lot of them. I was like, I had no clue. I just went in because I didn't know, and I'm old, and we stood in line for things like this.
Oh no, you got in a response from the actual what's this animal. The animal. Oh, this is Animal Crossing World. I thought it was like Nintendo's account.
Thankfully, no.
Yeah. So I guess people were responding to like the blog says, oh yeah, it's gonna be Target. You can't purchase them, and then somebody just has your picture says, apparently you can walk in.
It's me.
So,
and the worst part was like a lot of people. So they were pre-ordering. The pre-order actually didn't drop till 9 a.m. to even buy these. So you were supposed to go online immediately at 9 a.m. order it and pick it up at the store later.
Yeah.
People got heated because it sold out within minutes.
Yeah.
And people like me were like, la, 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 la. And then there was concern that we were going to mess up the people buying them online in Target thinking they had the stock.
They had quantity and they didn't. Oh
yeah. And it was like, all these things I didn't think about. And
yeah.
I mean, I assumed me checking out at the register took it out of the quantity. So what, at least I was hoping that.
I'm amazed they let you check it out, that nothing flagged when you got the checkout.
Oh, there was something next to it when I checked out on the little, but it was self-checkout. So there was something, it was like an exclamation point or something there. It was like, that's just odd. And I thought, maybe it's electronics. No one said a word. I was self-checkout.
You're just like, okay, run the credit card, head for the gate before they catch me, before the animal Hello Kitty police tackle me at Target.
Right. But if it was that big of a deal, like they shouldn't have even had them out in the store.
Okay, so some people had them out in the store. There was rumors there were at some of the stores they had them out on the shelf. I went to the counter and they were in a box, and I asked an associate for it, and he was like, "Oh, here you go." And like they were just taking the stock out. Like it wasn't like they hadn't stocked the shelves.
Okay.
So that's what I thought had happened.
Okay.
So when you went to did you go to the counter in electronics or did you go to the service desk counter?
Electronics.
So see, yeah, that doesn't, I mean, usually like when they're serious about that, usually it's at the service desk behind the counter.
I just appreciate how you like Inspector Clouseau'd your way into this situation. I mean, like, that's impressive. That's great.
So now I am a holder of a $6 item that is selling on eBay for hundreds because they're not supposed. I don't know if they're gonna be releasing more. But yeah, really enjoyed the expansion. So if you get a hold of it, it's great. But the really, really fun thing about it is they are amiibos. Mm-hmm. So if with this set of cards, there's not really a limit to how many switches you could put these characters on.
No way.
There's a little, so there is a little bit of a process to put them on. You have to so there's 6 cards in there, 6 characters, 6 neighbors. Each one, you can only add essentially one card per day. So it's a little bit of a process, and I did some time traveling to make sure my niece could have all the furniture, because again, you can only order 5 things and mail out 2 things from your island. So I did a lot of time traveling. I spent hours. My niece has no idea. She's 5 and has no clue how much work and how much controversy I caused her to just get like Hello Kitty stuff. And one day when she's older, I'm going to remind her of this. But the nice thing is so like I was able to use her cards to load them onto my Switch. And I'm going to be handing off to some friends these cards so that they can load them onto their Switch. And I have a little bit of a list going. So locally, we can share. And,
so how do you load them on? Is it like the old Amiibo where you tap, or is it?
So in the card, on the back of the card, there's like a little Amiibo, the square. And on the Switch, on the right joystick, you go and you go to resident service, and it says invite Amiibo, camper with the Amiibo, and you just hold it above that right joystick, and it loads that particular Amiibo in. So it's really easy.
And that's a NFC technology, I believe, right? Like what your phone does. Basically, same technology your phone uses for like Apple Pay, right? Mm-hmm. So interesting. Interesting. Wow. Wow. Should have bought a third one for the for your niece's
Listen, I
college
adhered to a
fund.
limit of 2.
Okay. All right.
You should have just
all right.
taken.
Oh,
You should
you
have
Listen.
used that rule.
Yeah. She's like, I broke every rule in the book except for
But that one.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I'd be interested if you took the pack that's still sealed
Mhm.
and held it over the Switch. Will it scan through the
Ooh.
pack? You could have gone in.
No, they wouldn't. They would have thought of that, right? Right?
I don't know, but if they were only meant to be pre-sale and handed out, I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. Well, if we can go to the hot items that Katie has to other expensive items.
The
Chilla,
hot paid for items.
yeah, well, no. This is going to be a very paid for item from the looks of things. Chilla, you have a story in here about a Pokemon card, and this is not the Pokemon card I think that your friend from the line, Katie, was looking for, right?
It could have been. I don't know. They were.
So, Chilla, what is this?
So a Charizard card. So I am not like I'm just getting into Pokemon, but a Charizard
Yes.
card.
Charizard is a big deal.
The original, they're referencing the 52 Topps Mantle, the 86 Fleer Jordan, and the 79 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky in comparison with this card.
Jeez.
The Charizard Pokemon card, now it did have a mint rating of 10, the PSA 10 Gym Mint Distinction for this card was a 10. So it was pristine condition, sold through PWCC auctions on eBay for $311,800,000.
Wow.
So over $250,000 for this 1999 first edition Shadowless Charizard card, which I thought was amazing. There were 2,600 of those cards submitted for rating. It was one of 122 that got the PSA 10 Gem Mint distinction.
Jeez.
So there's another 121 of those cards floating around out there. if you had the whole stack, just
I'd say if you got 5 and up, you got some pretty good cash in your pocket there.
Yeah.
So, jeez. You know, in these day and age,
a lot of Stream IO.
yeah, in this day and age where we're talking about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and people selling basically like your first tweet and PNGs and clips from the NBA, it's nice to see something physical going for an obscene amount of money.
Well, and that's the thing that kills me is, and I don't know if you've bought in a pack of Pokemon cards lately, but in every pack of Pokemon cards, there's a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
That QR code is then for a pack of digital cards.
Yeah.
In the iOS game.
In the game, or is it like I guess it's the game, huh? So so the
iPad there is a online version of Pokemon that you have to go through it's like the card game, and you go through some of the training stuff and you get a random blister pack and a basic deck to work with, and then you can buy digital packs of cards. Now I don't know if you can try. I haven't gone as far as trading the cards or anything, but I'm interested now that we've started to be able to find a few packs here and there.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Am I going to be able to go on eBay and be like, for $100,000, I'll trade you this digital card?
Not knowing the technical background how this app works, my guess is no, because I would say I don't know, because I guess the stream keys and things sell. Like I don't.
But you don't know what's in that pack. That QR code's only good once.
Right.
But if you remember back to the Diablo days, where people would get very rare digital goods in Diablo,
Yeah.
and there was the trading.
Yeah.
There were people selling digital goods on eBay.
So I think
you would meet up in an online game and trade it for the money.
So I guess the difference is where we're talking about like those NFT things that have been in the news the last several weeks, where you like, you have a blockchain that's not owned by somebody, right? That says you own this thing. Like that's the equivalent of the bank saying you have $100 in your account, right? It's something supposedly infallible that says this is of worth and belongs to you. I think so instead of a blockchain or your bank saying that, so now you're dependent on whoever
hope someone doesn't break into your account and grab
well, yeah. It depends
cards.
on whoever does who does the Pokemon cards. Is that a certain company? Is that Game Freak? Is it who?
I don't know who does. I know their copyright Nintendo.
Right, it's like a weird.
Right,
it's a weird joint thing with Nintendo, and they don't like outright own Pokemon, I guess. So let's for argument's sake say Nintendo owns that app, runs that app. Like Nintendo says you own the thing, so if you transfer it through another way and then trade it, like that is registered there with Nintendo, and that's up to them to keep that. So the fun part is if Nintendo decides, oh, this app is done, there goes everything you spent a bunch of money on. That's the problem. Versus the blockchain. The blockchain, I think theoretically, is this infallible thing as long as computers in the world run. Right, I don't begin to understand blockchain, but that's as far as I've grasped so far. So it's good if it's good enough for money, I guess. It's good enough for Pokemon cards. Is there an NFT Pokemon card? That's the next question. Which I have no answer for. Not yet. Maybe that's the next thing. Maybe just see the NFT stuff get inserted into these other programs like the Topps trading card app or something like that. So. All right, let's hit one more story. This is a good news question mark thing that's rolling out. Of course, a lot of people getting the vaccines coming up, and I saw this story about New York, but actually I understand that there's, I think they're talking about support for something like this across several states would be participating. I hope it works out better than the COVID tracker app that I never got verification for when I got it. But New York apparently rolls out the first digital COVID-19 vaccine passport in the U.S. So this is a QR code. None of your information is anywhere except for on your phone. But once you get your vaccine, you're able to register with this thing and verify for things like concerts and events that you are indeed vaccinated or apparently have tested negative in a adequate amount of time before whatever the event is. That's good because I know there's concern about, I know some people, we chat with, don't want a vaccine for very legitimate reasons. And, and so if you're say, hey, you need a passport, that becomes kind of a issue. But I'm glad to see this one's allowing you to test negative to still participate in some sort of event as well. Again, another technology, hopefully, I think we're talking about concerts and stuff, so it's not exactly an everyday thing. But I know they're talking about versions of these for things like airports and travel as well. So, no, I thought that was a pretty big deal. You guys have any thoughts on this? I haven't heard of anything in like Pennsylvania rolling out or anything like that.
It's interesting because one of the things that I called out here was wedding venues, which my sister's getting married soon, and that's one of the biggest things. Like, well, if it's a nice day, it's going to be here and it's going to be outside, and this many people are invited. And then if it's not, it's going to be here and it's going to be restricted, and there's going to be this many. Like it's there's a lot of effort and time and I'm sure hurt feelings and other things. Something like this that could allow that to expand, I think, is great, and
with confidence, and hopefully with a little bit of confidence, right?
Yep.
For the events
back
like that.
To your point of blockchain, it looks like it's powered by some IBM tech and uses They don't store or track private health data, and it uses a combination of blockchains, distributed ledger, and encryption to help secure the data. So you shouldn't be able to fake the passport as well as you shouldn't be able to fake the identity. So very cool tech.
Yeah, it's called the Excelsior Pass for this version of it, at least. Yeah, it's it's meant to be something to help ease us back into normality, especially in some place like New York. That's obviously more people, and had a big issue with this early on. So it'll be interesting to see. And also, it's like everybody has to have an adequate phone. So there's definitely a technology gap that this may be an issue for as well. A lot of people can't get a phone for whatever reason, so they can't. But then again, they also may not be people that would be participating in the kinds of things that this happened before. So,
doesn't it say in the beginning that you could print it?
You can print it as well, did they? Well, there you go.
So you can use your phone's virtual wallet on an Android or iOS, or a printout.
Yeah, print out of the QR code. Yeah.
Yep.
And it just the QR code is registered too. So the initial adopters will be the large venues, they say, like Madison Square Garden in New York City. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm glad there's options and they're building this kind of stuff up. So we'll see how it goes. So, let's see. We got time for any more? I think it's time to wrap. Oh, real quick, real quick, since we mentioned Pokemon. Niantic Labs is teasing that they want to do their own Google Glass kind of thing, AR glasses, so we can play our Pokemon with our eyes up, apparently. So, and what our Pikmin we were talking about last week, walking with Pikmin from Nintendo. So if anyone's going to do it, which is funny, I mean, Niantic is still a Google spinoff, right?
Yeah, I think there's an ulterior motive here. I think this is.
What's your ulterior motive?
Based on the data gathering that they want you to do to complete. What are they called in Pokemon Go? Like the stamps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one type of task you have to do. I can't remember what it is. It's the one where you get the stamps. You get like 6 of them, and you get like some unlocks.
See, I haven't been in there
recently. The field research.
Yeah.
So a lot of the field research that I've been getting, and obviously you can toss that back and try to get another one with a different spin at a gym or location. They want you to AR scan the locations.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're trying to get people to do the hard work to build 3-dimensional mapping.
So they're sending the people out to chase after Pikmin and Pokemon in order to 3D map the world for like some kind of future like 3D street map application of some sort.
Yep. Or they'll just sell the data.
Yeah.
Was it TomTom was the original one selling most of the maps to most of the companies doing GPS.
Mm-hmm.
Or do they just become a seller of that data? Because think about it, you can go back. I mean, if you have people continually playing and they're playing the different games, you're going to continue to get updates.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Street View, where they
if
send
they're
the
doing
cars
that,
out.
If they're doing that, they better
now
these glasses better be dirt cheap or free. If they're doing that, like,
oh, why?
Why? Because
you're doing it with your phone now.
Yeah.
You're doing it with your phone now. And I'll tell you what, the AR has gotten a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the camera phone or whatnot, but the AR is getting a lot better.
Could it be because you have do you have the phone with 5 lenses on it at this point?
Mine only has 3.
Yours only 3 lenses.
Well, I guess I have 4 because there's the front facing.
No, yeah, but Buttons, you just updated to your geek glasses. Are you ready for to see Pokemon through them?
No, I'm not ready. I can barely see. Period. They said they were supposed to help me.
Yes.
And I gotta look at an angle to see clearly. And you want me to look at Pokemon on the other side? I'm gonna crash into the goddamn wall. I can't. No, thank you.
I think Snap's going to be doing competing in this space too
Oh, of course they are.
with their specs.
Of course they are. So you can put googly-eyed faces on everybody around you. That'll be great. You know those weird facial things they're doing over there. Anyways,
Features.
Features.
What do they call them?
Yes.
Filters.
yes, the filters. That's
the
right.
filters. Yes.
I just check in and upload my thing, and then I run away.
Run away. Yes.
Because if I start playing with the face things, it's in the middle of the show usually, and I lose like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Katie, you remember when those happened? But,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Buttons, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a blast to have you on.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you. And I'm in the squad now. Don't forget, I'm in the squad.
That's right. That's
squad
right.
up.
Grind City.
Glasses up. Squad up.
Go get Grind City on the Roku, on your Android device, and at grindcity.biz for everybody else. A lot of great content going on over there. And maybe you want to tune in Wednesday nights at 11 o'clock for the Indie Wrestling Showcase.
You might want to do that. I think you should do that. It's
That
dope.
might be a good idea. What did I put on this week? I think I guess gave Duke
Number
and
43. Yes.
43. Duke and Doe talk about ECW.
Yes.
So that'll be a blast. You'll love Duke and Doe on that one too. But anyways, Katie Dudders on the Twitter, where you can see all the retweets of the Penguins. 70,000 views on that video on Twitter, by the way.
That's
That
awesome.
they did.
That's a lot of
A
people.
lot of people have
That's
seen your
awesome.
face. That might be almost as many people that saw you in Brazil at one time.
Brazilian television.
Oh my God, it was two hosts, right? And they interviewed you for that place you used to work, and I'm just like, you just became like a superstar in Brazil. That's like, if we get into Brazil now, if we were allowed to go to Brazil now, I think they'd recognize you on the street.
It's me again.
So, like, Togo. So, anything else you got to plug other than your ongoing Sanrio? Oh no, what's happening?
Doesn't work through the packaging.
Oh,
So within this package, it's like a metal pack, not metal, but like maybe aluminum, some sort of like whatever the material that you would wrap like baseball cards in, is around these cards. So I think they
See?
figured out they could block it. So they
you don't, Chilla, you don't mess with Nintendo. You know anything from Nintendo's history? You do not mess with Nintendo.
they know what they're doing.
Like, you watch that console wars on Paramount Plus. They're like, Nintendo was the damn mafia in the late '80s of
Yeah.
video games. They were
They were gangsters.
hardcore. It was ridiculous. Like, juxtaposing Nintendo of America versus how like badass like Sega of Japan was just like wild. And then you had like people sleeping in Days in America trying to get things to work here for the Genesis. It's wild when you go into that. But go Console Wars, Paramount Plus, if you get a chance. Go. There's a trial, I'm sure, if you're not on it. But it's not the reason to get Paramount Plus, by the way. I hope you like Star Trek or something. Or the real world, I guess. Chilla, at Chilla on the Twitters. He's got to go. So like, we'll get him out of here.
I gotta go put people to sleep.
Uh,
Literally.
he's just going to be reading text specs to his child as he dozes off. That's, let me tell you about mobile integration. We'll have Chilla Reads as an upcoming special on AwesomeCast on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thankfully, we didn't break anything with our drone or anything else. We just maybe made the internet a little bit mad there.
Chilla, we're all still woke, buddy. We're all still woke, Chilla.
We'll see you guys next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.